Okay. Alright, sick. Looks like I can be heard. Alright, sick. Looks like I can be heard. Let me go ahead and tweet it out then. Alright, sick. Looks like I can be heard. Let me go ahead and tweet it out then. Alright, sick. Looks like I can be heard. What's up, Brandon? Let me go ahead and tweet it out then. Alright, sick. Looks like I can be heard. Yeah, the echo is something else. I'm still trying to figure it out. Still new to this shit, so it's gonna be a little awkward here. Bear with me, please, as I go ahead and do that. Yeah, fuck it. I don't care if it says scene. Oh god. Why am I miskeying that? Alright, should I get straight into it, or let me see what the chat's saying. Is there anything wrong with audio? Should I get straight into it, or let me see what the chat's saying. Is there anything wrong with audio? Other than it's kind of low? No echo though? Alright, cool. Other than it's kind of low? No echo though? Alright, cool. Actually, hold on, let me do a thing. Yeah, I'm gonna let it go a couple minutes. Let people file in. In the meantime, it's actually been a good minute since I've streamed. So, I guess I could do a little update or some shit. Or some stuff, excuse me. So I went to Japan. For any of you that might not have happened to have seen that, I streamed on Twitch while I was there. And at this point, I've uploaded all of the stuff to YouTube. There isn't anything particularly or rather, I guess, how do I say this? I did not do any like splitting of videos or anything like that. So Twitch, I think I streamed twice for like an hour and some change or something like that. Um, that's all up on YouTube now with the title Shin Chimuyo. I don't know why I was in a Tinchi sort of mood, but the first episode, if you've paid attention to Twitter, you saw my Twitter or whatever. The first episode is me getting cooked by Kill basically the entire time. The second episode has me playing like a couple different opponents. I think Cool and Sweet was probably the more notable one. I played Cool and Sweet, and I played a couple of the Japanese Hildas. Episode 3, it's like an hour and 30 minutes or something like that. I didn't split it or anything. I'm too lazy to do that. I was playing against Sutawo, so if you guys want to see me play against Nanase, you can go ahead and do that. Like, I don't really know the matchup very well. I don't think I play it particularly well, but if you want some ideas, it's definitely out there. Episode 4 here with Phonon as the screen was actually LTP coming over. This is before we went to the Cyclops Weekly. 2 days before I left, but I think the day before he ended up leaving. So that's a full funny episode of LTP doing Phonon things to people in Japan. And then the last episode is the last night that I streamed, which I think was Tuesday night, the night before I went home that day. So there are 5 episodes of me playing in Japan, if you'd like to check that out. So there's that. Let's see, is there anything else of notes? Yeah, I'll go ahead and chill. I don't give a fuck. So, if you want to follow my content, I got a bunch of stuff. I have the blog, Nisei Mono Notes. I wrote about my trip to Japan here, Reflection, KBO, TSB, and a little bit, honestly, from the start of the year, past last year's year in review. We had a bit of a dead zone outside of Frosty and Anime Ascension and NCR. I didn't really write about those. This was more personal. My Twitch is pinned here. You're obviously in here if you're listening. Twitter, a lot of you follow me. There's a combo doc. Generally, I don't have super sophisticated routing in here. It's all simple stuff that I imagine that anybody could kind of pick up and do. At least if you've done the basics or you've done your trials or your missions. Got the playlist, so that treats back here. I don't have all of the playlists, but if you want to look at that, there's a bunch of different playlists. There's me in Japan. This includes like recordings of other people that I did. It's only 13 videos, unfortunately. Maybe due to the language barrier, and also with Friday night into Saturday, people were kind of chill. The atmosphere wasn't such where I think people wanted to record sets or anything like that, so I didn't do any of that. Aside from that, has my Nanase, there's some playlists, my Orie, I have exhibitions, and as far as that, exhibitions are going to be really impromptu this time around for Combo Breaker. I think both because of the Japan trip and finishing with school and some other things that I had to do, it's a little bit more difficult for me to organize all of that stuff together. So if people want to run exhibitions, maybe like Thursday or like Friday before pools is the best time. Just go ahead and at me, I guess, if you want to run an exhibition. I know I talked about, I think, me versus Suika, I think, was one. Spluky versus Foxub was another one. I was going to do Isaac versus JDR, but that is likely to be a pools match, as we're going to go and talk about in a bit. Yo, what's up, that guy? What else is there to mention? Really, I think that's about it. Um, yeah, I'm not officially running teams this year. Um, Queen of Moths and her staff, like I'm on the staff, but and I'll be helping out, but I'm not the one really organizing anything this year. So if you were more familiar with that coming from me, I'm not doing that this year. I also don't have a hand in the exhibition. You'll want to talk to Curly whenever he releases that information. I'll do recordings if people want. Otherwise, I'm just going to cool it. I am working the event for at least part of it. So, like, I think Friday is generally when I'm working the event. Saturday, I'll mostly be free unless something else comes up. But yeah, if you're looking for stuff organization side, like I'm not really doing it too much. So sorry about that. Without further ado, though, I think we'll get into it. We have our pools here. Yeah, I do a lot, and more that I don't even talk about. So there's that. So we'll go ahead and take a look at C1. This pool, like all of these pools are actually kind of fucked up, but we'll go ahead and start with this one. Aren't we lucky though? I mean, I think with the exception of maybe this pool block, it's either this pool block or some of the pools. Everything else is getting streamed. Like we're getting the Friday stuff, 5, 7. Hopefully there's not a 9. Nah. Yeah, there's not even a 9 p.m. pool. So like this is 8 Eastern. This is Central Time too. So like it's comfortable if you're on any other time zone besides Eastern Time. And even then, like the Saturday pools at 11, like those are real lenient pools too. So shout outs to Combo Breaker for that. But I believe the D, E, and F blocks, excuse me, D, E, and G blocks are all getting streamed on Team Spooky, if I'm correct, if I'm remembering correct. That's super exciting. And then right after, I think that pool wave on Saturday, I think we go straight into top 48. So like it's gonna be a little bit brutal for it's still gonna be a little bit brutal for those that play on Saturday, because like if you manage to survive to get out or whatever, like you're immediately thrown into top 48 losers or top 48 winners, and then we're basically running everything like top 16. I think we're running through and all the way to top 8, all the way to the finish. So it's gonna be a long ass day on Saturday. If you have plans to go out to eat or anything like that, like you better get your shit quick, because other than that, we're gonna be off and running. So again, I said without further ado, but let me backtrack again. We're gonna go back to C1. So right now, the names that stick out to me, there is Fuzzberticus from Virginia. He pushed Klim to the brink at Michigan Masters. In fact, like he really very nearly beat Klim there. Klim, I think, ended up finishing 7th place there. So like he's definitely a name that sticks out to me. We have Norse, fan favorite Norse, talented Aurier, one of the best in North America. She's in that pool. This is a little curious too, as I'll get to why. So Norris has a little bit of a Merkava player, I think, issue. I know she was eliminated from. I think she was double eliminated by Mr. You Suck at Michigan Masters, where she might have lost to someone else and then lost to Mr. You Suck in losers. Aurier Merkava is a little bit of a tricky matchup. Like I play Aurier a little bit. I know Psychotic's like super comfortable with the matchup now. He did a lot of like studying and work and stuff like that. But I know Merkava, just by popping into the Aurier channel, has been a little bit of a roadblock for a lot of other players. So this will be interesting, as far as, yes, Mr. Yusuck was the guy with the Merkava suit. And I'm pretty sure he'll be with it. It was Sigma. Okay, she lost to Sigma and Mr. Yusuck. Yeah, that's Jay, the runner of Michigan Masters. If you have a chance to go out, it was super fun. You should definitely do that. I don't know why I had to. There we go. Aside from that, we have Subrosian. Now, that's a name that we haven't seen for a very long time. That's Clem's younger brother, if I remember right, plays Batista. The last like major that I remember seeing him at was CEO Taku 2017. So it's been quite a while. I played him in the teams tournament there. Uh, he had to play Maiko, I believe, in losers eighths in order to advance. I don't remember who won that set. I think Maiko maybe did, but it seems like he's been playing a little bit more. Like even in Vancouver, to my knowledge, he hasn't been playing that much. But he's still, yeah. Subrosian Dimitri is not the same guy. But this is Clem's younger brother, Subrosian, plays Batista. I think this Subrosian won an Evo or got second place at an Evo for EL back when he was grinding a lot harder. Um, and then Eunice player, formerly known as Shaquille Uniel, strong player that eliminated me, unfortunately, at Frosty Faustings. There we are. Sorry, some of these events are really blending together. They're uh, they're so large and so much stuff happens at them. It's hard to keep them all in track sometimes. So this pool is like pretty interesting. I think almost anything can happen within the top four, and there's some other names that I recognize. Netplay Abuse. I think he's the Nanase from out there. I know Tanner has talked to me, Spray Tanner, about that. Ragno Blue, Hilda, from Massachusetts. So he's with FLCD, Flaccid, and also LTP. He's from out there. Um, I know I've seen Kuzu. Kuzu plays Seth. Then there's Mexican, who's like pretty strong. Um, but I think the focus is probably around the four names that I kind of mentioned before, with Shaq, aka Eunice Player, Subrosian, Norse, and Fuzzburdicus. Um, I think that I think that in likelihood, Shaq is probably getting out of this pool in winners. This is a close pool where I think like almost anybody could kind of get out. Yeah, Clearlamp from Japan is coming. Hello, Tin Samurai Cats. Thanks for coming. But almost anybody can get out of this pool. But I think Shaq probably gets out in winners. If the 2 and the 3 end up being Fuzzburdicus and Subrosian, that set I think is interesting because like Fuzz doesn't play like Clem does. I think Fuzz is probably a little bit more updated. Like if you're looking purely at like what Eunice Merkava is going to do, Combo Breaker isn't quite like Evo, but like for right now, it's the largest Eunice tournament in the history of the game. Tari, I don't think is going, or if he is going, he did not enter the tournament. So there's that. Tari sometimes feels like entering. He's less of a competitive tournament player, even though he's strong enough to be. Like he won NCR obviously, but he doesn't love competing in tournaments. He likes playing and relaxing. He might do like some sort of sweep like he did last year. Um, yeah, Tari's just gonna go and chill this time. I think KFL is also. Yeah, Combo Breaker is only in the United States. It's in Illinois, near Chicago, not quite Chicago, but in St. Charles, Illinois. It's one of the most prolific tournaments, I think, in North America at this point. Like, it's basically grown year after year. Oh, KFL is going to do on-site rig. That's good to know. He's going to fuck up some seats for sure. So hopefully, Curly, if you're watching, pay attention to that. I'm glad that KFL wants to pay $100 to enter and fuck things up at the last minute. Thank you, KFL. We love you. Have fun. Well, I wouldn't say that, Adonimo. You don't have the number one Yuzu, but there are definitely some talented Yuzus in this bracket. There are a lot of Yuzus these days. Yeah, there's plenty of Yuzus there. We'll cover them as we go through. I'm still at C1. But I think if I'm going to make an estimation here, it's going to be Shaq. I'll say Fuzzburdicus gets out in the loser side of winners finals. I think Sabrosian is a little new. Maybe he hasn't seen a bunch of the new Merkaba stuff. And Fuzzburdicus is in MDVA, so I think he might have access to Matt Coma, who's been playing. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if he's played Fox of 42, who's like basically outside of Maiko, who unfortunately isn't going. The prolific Batista in North America. And then third, I think Sabrosian gets out from the loser side, out of loser semifinals. Norse can do it, but these are problem matchups for her. Merkaba and Batista are both matchups that I think maybe even of her own admission she has a little bit of difficulty with. So in that sense, I think it's 3 out. Combo breaker is always 3 out. By her own admission, I think that's going to be a little bit difficult for her. So I guess we can mark that. C1 has Shaq out in winners. The second person out being Fuzzburdicus from winners finals, and Sabrosian out in losers. So we'll go ahead and move on to C2. The names that stick out to me, this is actually one of the very, very secret fucked up pools. Like there are a lot of people in this pool that could change up a lot of different things. But some of the names that stick out to me, Chibi Bubble King, Merkaba, and Seth. He might be picking up Phonon too, last I saw. He's pretty good in Michigan. You have Clem, of course, who's one of the best players in North America. You have Dollar. Dollar Seth. He doesn't get to travel that much, but he's like an OG player. Plays plenty of games. Plays Blue. Plays Melty Blood. Plays Uni. Plays Seth. And his Seth is pretty strong too. So he could mess plenty of brackets up. You have Enigma, who is the quietest member of the Illuminati. But basically anybody that plays against this guy generally speaks highly of him. There are a bunch of phonons about, but like he's strong. He's strong. You got Kusanagi. I remember talking to him at like Otaku, and I asked him like, "Hey, you just this out, or you think you're gonna play blah blah blah?" It's like, no, I think I'm gonna focus on some of the other things. I think he was playing Dragon Ball, but lo and behold, we have him back. Kusanagi will make his appearance from Mexico. Yuzuriha, I think he probably still plays Yuzu at this point, but I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure. Who else do we have in here? Queen of Moths is a player on the come up, plays Waldstein. Ryan Hunter, I think, is making his first major appearance. He plays Yuzuriha, and I know just by popping into his stream, like he's studied the shit out of Kure. Like he studied Kure, he studied Tari. Ryan Hunter himself, if you're not familiar, is one of the best Guilty Gear players and is one of my favorite commentary members as well. He's very insightful, has a lot of knowledge, very articulate, and his play is clean too. I haven't gotten a chance to play him in ST yet, maybe potentially because it's Yuzu Akatsuki, and I see that more than enough already. But I would be on the lookout for him. Swan plays Batista from Indiana. He's pretty good. I know he's been paying more attention to the game. He's been playing a bunch of stuff. You have one of my favorite players. I'm heavy bias here. TGK Toma plays Seth and Yuzu. If anything, I would say he's probably the second seed in this pool behind Clem. But tournament, it's hard to say. Like I want to say that tournament kind of gets to him a little bit, but if you kind of look at things, his last couple of events, he's quietly really been up there. Like CL Taku, I believe he got 9th place, so he was just outside of that. If I remember right, maybe he beat JJ there. I know he beat Yeah, I think he beat JJ there. He beat JJ there and then lost to, I think, either Psychotic or Rakir. Climax of Night, he got ninth place. He died to JJ. JJ got into top 8 off of him. He also beat me 2-1 at Climax of Night. That's where I got 17th. Um, so, like, it's hard to really sleep on him. I know a lot of players have him on his radar, but he's super strong too. And then you have Wish. I think Wish beat Erico at he's a Nanase from Chicago. Kind of crazy. But Wish I think beat Erico to get out of his pool at Frosty Faustins as well. So like you have a lot of different players that can make some waves here. Um, I think even with TTK being the two, like you have two users in this pool. You have Nanase, although TTK's played Neon a fair amount in the past. Um, got two users. You have Enigma, like who's a very talented phonom, and you have Dollar. So like if TTK actually ends up playing Dollar, I don't know how familiar with the Seth matchup he is. I don't know, because I don't know if he's going to play Yuzu there. I don't know if he's going to try to play the mirror. I know TTK has talked to me before about like how unstable sometimes like tournament Seth is, and like having to play your own character in a matchup, like definitely is a factor. Like I hate playing the Akatsuki mirror in tournament. It's really shaky for me. That character makes me really uncomfortable. So you who knows what's going to happen. I think Klim maybe doesn't even safely get out of this pool because like Yuzu's kind of a demon for him. I think Enigma potentially can beat him if he's been playing. Dollar could beat him too, but like I'll say that Klim gets out of this pool relatively safely. So he's the one seed, but who he plays in winners finals, there's so many different names. Like the primary ones I think that will get to him would be like Enigma, TTK, maybe Kusanagi. Ryan Hunter, I think, might be a little too new. I don't know how many matchups that he's played, and I think experience in the game definitely is a factor for having to navigate through pools. So I'll actually call the upset. Sorry, TTK, I love you, but I think it's going to be Enigma that gets out on the loser side of winners finals, and then I think TTK gets out in third of this pool. This is I'm actually really sad that this probably isn't getting streamed because this is probably the most messed up pool. So like if you have a chance, if you're hovering around and C2 gets announced 3P on Friday, like definitely watch this one. Definitely watch that one. It's top 3 that makes it out. So to explain how that works, you go to winners finals of the pool and you play that set. The winner of that set advances into top 48 winners, and the loser advances into top 48 losers. So, like, technically from there, if you win in top 48 and you win again, I think you're into top 16 from there. Because that's like 24th. Like, if you go there and lose twice, I think you get 17th place. But, yeah, third person out, I think I said was TTK. Enigma with the second person out. But it could easily be flipped, or something else could happen. Like we'll see what happens with that. We'll go ahead and move to C3. C3 is actually pretty interesting too. So from here you have Datagram from New York. He's the prolific streamer for the Lunar Phase production group. If you don't sub to them or you don't follow them on Twitch, definitely do it. They put out a lot of content. I mean, New York, I've gone through there. I think that guy has gone through. You'll see at least within the last month or so, the elusive Frozen Core. He decided to go out for their team's tournament. I probably will be making another trip to New York in the summer if things work out pretty well. But please pay attention to them. They're one of the people that consistently releases content for Uni if you you want to follow the Northeast scene or the New York scene. You have Frosty the Swole Man. So he's been on the come up as of this version. Um, I think it might be fair to say that he's probably the second best Enkidu in North America, uh, at least placing wise. There are a couple others, like Mars from Chicago, I think is pretty strong. He's kind of crazy, but he's pretty strong. And then Rakir, of course, who I think is probably the best Enkidu player in North America. But he's definitely on the come up. I would pay attention to him. Karada has been one of the rising stars. I kind of hate saying that, but like Karada's super nice from out in SoCal. That scene's been grinding like crazy. I mean, you saw him top 8. He beat Klim in winners this time around. Actually, yeah, he beat Klim in losers. He eliminated Klim to get into top 8. I lost to him at Michigan Masters as well, so he's definitely been rising extremely fast. Like his stock is up there. You have Punk actually. Punk, PG. Is he still PG? I think he's still PG. PG Punk or let's see. Yeah, PG Punk. So I know he was playing Phonon like back when Sonic Fox and a bunch of other people, Hook came back, but all of them were kind of playing in their cluster. Phonon, I think, is a character that really works towards his strengths. I don't think it'd be wise to sleep on him, even though I think that with the rest of the names in the pool, it might be a little bit difficult for him to get out of this one. So that's a name to pay attention to. Sonic Spear is my local second best player in Columbus. Plays Mika. He's been really adjacent to top 16s. He almost top 8'd, I think, Frosty Faustings 2 years ago. And was 17th, got eliminated by Smart Steer at this year's. He won our Ranbat this time around. I definitely lost plenty of tournament sets to him as well. I'd be on the lookout for him. His Mika is really strong. Soul Good Guy is an Akatsuki on the come up. And this pool is actually of interesting note. I'm going to skip Trill for like a half second because Soul Good Guy and Vic Viper, who both play Akatsuki, I think have run into each other basically at the last couple events. They played each other at Mackay. I think they played each other at Frosty Faustings, and they played each other at Michigan Masters. He and her really can't dodge each other. They consistently play each other. It's crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if they're on the same side again. Yeah, it's another Akatsuki team kill, but that seems to happen. And then it should go without saying, the player that is highly likely to get out of this pool is Trill. Trill is one of the best players in North America, extremely talented Chaos. He has talented subs too. His Outnum's really good. I've seen him post tech on Twitter with Phonon. He was one of the big pushes of like Mika optimization alongside Shinso Beam within the last year. I think it's pretty safe to say that Trill wins this pool. I think. I don't know if they're. I think that there are players that can get him. I think Karada can. I think Frosty can. I think Sonic Spear probably can because Sonic Spear plays against Chaos every week. But I put a relatively sure bet on Trill to get out of the pool. Although I did hear from Spinach in the chat, not this chat, but in the Discord, that I think Trill gets in maybe like at noon on Friday. So he doesn't have a whole lot of time to warm up. That could be a factor as well. But no, Gine, 2 from loser side. 1 gets out after playing winners finals. So winners finals gets played. Frosty might miss his pool. No, he entered, Murphy. He's in there. Unless he's decided that he's just going to DQ himself. I don't know why he would do that if he's paid. But, so Yeah, I know he wanted to before, but I think he switched his stance and ended up registering later. Oh, you just asked him. Okay. In that case, I think it becomes a little bit more obvious who gets out of the pool. Yeah, that's a shame, Frosty, but I understand it. So in that sense, I think Trill Card and Sonic Sphere get out. Um, in that order too. We do have a Yuzu here, but he doesn't play very often, and I don't know how comfortable Sonic Spirit is in that matchup. Karada definitely plays against Calamity in SoCal as well, so I know he's very familiar. I think there could be some intrigue. Karada could beat Trill, but Trill is historically, I think, seemed pretty comfortable with the matchup. I think he has the set lead on Tari as well. So I think Trill relatively safely gets out of this pool, but I think Karada definitely can beat him. C4, who do we have in here? Black Atlas is a name that I recognize from New York. I don't know how consistently he comes out to things. Excuse me. You have Hanzo Gonzo, the Gordo, and one of the Tenno stream members, Prolific Goblin. Uh, I'm not entirely sure how strong he is. I know he plays in NorCal, but unfortunately, I haven't really been able to follow NorCal Uni as much recently. Um, you have Jibka, who plays Enkidu. I remember thinking that he was pretty strong as he was playing, but like the last couple of events that I've seen him at, he's had to DQ himself from, where he just didn't show up to pools. One of the two. So I honestly have no idea how he'll do in this pool. You have Junko Kono, who is actually Zach Cat. He's one of the name changers here. His Hilda is really strong. He almost beat me actually at Frosty Faust, or excuse me, Michigan Masters. You have LTP top 8 at Frosty Faustings. Extremely strong from Northeast, the Northeast part of the U.S., part of the crazy trio, or is that a trio? No, the quartet of crazy players. You have him, Foxov, Isaac, and Redblade. The aforementioned Mars. He has to be probably the weirdest Enkidu I've ever played up to this point. I wouldn't be surprised if some players couldn't quite adjust to him as well. Nerd Josh, I have no idea who he plays. I don't know. Like, he's a purveyor. He plays everything and is like pretty good in everything, but I don't have any character like knowledge of him. I have no idea who he plays. Maybe somebody else can fill me in on him. Let's see. He was last playing WAG. I wouldn't be surprised. That sounds like a character that Nerd Josh would play. Let's see. Razmafoof is a name that I've heard of, but unfortunately, like the Missouri, Kansas area, I haven't really been too familiar with them. I went out to a Garage Gear and I played a couple players. I don't think Raz was there, but his name might be familiar from other games to me. You have Rakir, who also goes without saying he's the best Enkidu, in my opinion, in North America, and is the second best Chaos player in North America as well. Um, I don't know how much he's been playing because like the school grind is brutal for him. If you follow him on Twitter, he talks about it a lot. It might be a little rough for him. Sakanto is a new player. New Akatsuki. Try your best, Sakanto. That's all I'll say as far as that. Tommy Two Step is a name that I've seen before. I think he's a Street Fighter player of relative note from Texas. But I don't know who he plays. My brain wants to say Fonon. I think it's Fonon. But yeah, those are the players that I would say are to look out. Yeah, it is Fonon. So of this pool, I think LTP versus Rakir is actually going to be extremely interesting. This is one of the pools that I again am a little sad that we won't see. Um, I think even let me not ignore some of the other players in the pool as well. I think Zatcat has the potential to maybe beat LTP. I think Mars, depending on like, I think Mars and Zatcat, aka Junko Kono, have the ability to possibly beat LTP. Um, LTP sometimes is a little shaky. His aggressive tendencies sometimes get him into trouble. Like he has the control and the ability, I think, to get to winners finals safely. But those two are players that I definitely know have experience against Phonon. So there could be some traps there. Rakir, on the other hand, I think like not too many of the players in this pool have a whole lot of experience against Chaos. I could be wrong. Please correct me in the chat if I am. Um, and his Enkidu plays in a really like safe and deliberate way, and he's definitely very reliant on safe jumps and like kind of weird tick traps, throw traps, and mash traps. That I think if you haven't seen them too often and you get too antsy, it's a lot easier to die to Rakir. But I would say, yeah, I think LTP's Rakir and Zatcat get out with Rakir and loser, or excuse me, with Rakir and winners. I think he gets out over LTP, and Zatcat probably gets out and losers there. So that is my pool for the Friday 3 p.m. block. Again, Sakanto, try your best. I will. I don't know. Am I running that pool? I might be. I don't know. So we'll move on to D1, the 5P Friday. We have Angel of Soul. We have Bafflejig, Cathaticus. Dice Arm is a name that I've heard before. Maybe because he's in the Midwest Discord, that's why I'm familiar with him. But I want to say he plays Byakuya. Hardly is a Bourrier, I think, from Wisconsin. I remember playing him a bit and being pretty impressed by him online. You have Majin Obama in the pool of note because he's Obama. His Akatsuki isn't new to the game, but he doesn't play the game as much as I think he plays Tekken and as he plays Guilty Gear. So try your best, Obama, in that pool. I think it might be a little rough for you though. Who else? PS1 demo disc is one of many Lines in New York. I think Brandon said he was around the fourth Line. In that case, you have Brandon, you have EJ, you have JG, and you have PS1 demo disc. Senior Taxi is a name that I literally haven't heard in a good amount of time. He was notable for Marvel 3. I think did he beat Chris G once in Marvel? Yeah, Dante. I don't know who he plays in this game, but it's interesting to see some of the names pop up. Then you have Squish, again, goes without saying, one of the best arguable in North America, like top two, I think, at the very lowest, depending on if you think Red Blade has passed him up or not. I think Red Blade is the best player in North America right now, but feel free to argue about it in the chat. I won't engage you with that. Tanner from Colorado plays Merkaba. Wormdog is a name that I've heard. I played him online. I think he plays Mika or Merkaba. Zach in the Box plays Gordo, if I recall correctly. So those are the names of note. So when I kind of look at it, I think the pool might be a little difficult for the people that are trying to get out other than Squish. I think Squish relatively safely gets out of this pool. I think the biggest potential threat to him is Angel. Maybe no. I don't think Bafflejig has enough Akatsuki experience. And even if you do have Akatsuki experience, the way Squish plays is so different, and the amount of pressure that he puts on you in gameplay, I think, is too much for basically everybody else in the pool to be able to handle. Angel, I think, has played well against him in casuals, at least from her admission. I'm going to use her viewpoint here. But I think Angel has a tournament nerves issue, so that could cause her to drop. And Aurier is like a danger matchup for Hilda in the first place. Yuzu, I would say, is maybe a danger matchup, but like I don't know how much experience Bafflejig has against Yuzu either, or not Yuzu, excuse me, against Hilda. But okay, he has net play Akatsuki experience and post climax Scrot. Okay, Zach in the box plays Gord, but yeah, I think Squish gets out in winners. I want to say Angel loses to him to get out, and then I'll say Bafflejig. I think Cathaticus can do it. Hardly probably can do it depending, because like Yuzu versus Aurier is also kind of a weird matchup. I don't know if it's a difficult matchup. I think it's probably close to even. But yeah, I think those three I think safely get out. Yeah, Ari Monster. It'd be like that. Those are old bookmarks though. It's been a good minute. So we'll go ahead and move to D2. That has Casual Breloom, who is a Batista player. You have Cookie, who is the Florida Gordo. He's in the chat. Pharaoh is a player that I ran into at Garage Gear that I was really surprised by. His Akatsuki was a lot stronger than I like suspect that it was going to be, and I came away really impressed. Like, I think either I narrowly lost or I narrowly won like our casual games. He has optimal, or he had optimal combos at the time. I have to imagine that his combos have gotten even better from there. His neutral felt really strong too. Um, that's a player I think that people want to watch out for. You have Grave, who I think plays Hyde from New York. He's one of the players in New York that I'm a little bit less familiar with, but I've definitely heard of. Foxov almost needs no introduction. He's one of the fastest growing players that's come out. The cheat box Batista has taken 2 sets, I think, from Squish at this point. He's a favorite to win this pool. I don't know if he's the favorite, but he's a favorite to win this pool. And then you have Magnets. You know, that's my boy, the best Eltonum in North America. And if somebody else wants to dispute that, you can go ahead and do that. But instead, hold that shit. Show it at Evo, show it at CB, wherever you want. I think Magnets has it though. You have Nipperman, who is another Aurier of relative note. I played him online. He's definitely like a PC prolific player. He's really strong. You have Ray, who's along. That's TS Ray, Team Spooky Ray. He plays Gordo. I've been really impressed actually watching him when I've peeped in on the MVVA stuff. Who else is that in there? I think those are the ones of particular note in that pool. But this pool is kind of dangerous too. I think that Magnets and Foxov get to winners finals pretty safely, and so I'll put them to the side for now. But I think between Cookie, Casual Breloom, Pharaoh, Grave, Nipperman, and Ray, I have no real clue who gets out of that one. My brain, sorry, Cookie, I respect you as a player, but I think the Aurier matchup might be a little bit hairy. I think Nipperman probably has the strongest character matchup out of the rest of this group. Pharaoh, Akatsuki can just happen to you. I've definitely happened to people before. I want to say I think Nipperman gets out of loser semis, but I think Nipperman plays Cookie to get out. So that's my third. But Magnets versus Foxa, I'm extremely happy that is, yes, I did play in Japan. At Danimo. Um, if you want, you can check out my YouTube. Sorry, I'm gonna cut that. It has, oh wow, Akatsuki Jushichi in Japan, or Jushichi Akatsuki in Japan, and then there are 3 different videos of me playing in Japan. If you would like to take a look at that. But yeah, so yeah, Gordo versus Aurier sucks, and that one's going to be real difficult. Yeah, nice and clean shill. It's not done. Oh yeah, there we go. Please sub. Please consider throwing some Twitch primes or some Twitches at your boy. I know some douche. Excuse me. Let me not say that. Some guy was like, "You don't even have an emote yet, but here's one. Hit the Jushichi Pensive if you'd like that one." Thank you, HQYZ Twitch Prime. I appreciate it. Karida, I see you got my back as well. Thank you very much. Yeah. Emotes godlike. We definitely have it. Shoutouts to Cho, Goku, Ozaru. I think I have that in the right order. He's fantastic. If you love Mika Bonk, like, he made that. So please commission him. He does emotes, he does signatures, he does banners. He literally does everything. Cho is like one of the godlike people that's been around. So 100%. Yeah. 100% like follow him. If he has a Patreon, if he has a coffee, whatever. Like hit him out there. Like Cho is definitely one of the best players or the best people in the scene. Damn. JU, Ruffle Crab, Frosty. Yeah, sub to I that guy as well. One of the best Byakuya's. The best Byakuya in North America. Let me correct that. So, yeah. Thank you for the subs. I'll get back to paying attention to them. Let me dip back into the stream. So, one of the most interesting fucking matchups in pools, bro. Oh my goodness. When I do more Gord content, I might play some Gord. Actually, waifu, you should sub to me. I got 7th place at Gord Night. Sure, I got cooked up by Eunice player. I got my burst stolen, but that's still 7th place. We out here. So yeah, actually, let me ask the chat. Foxa versus Magnets. Who do y'all like? This one's a toss up, and for anybody that knows me, I have investments at these tournaments. I like to put a little bit of money up, but oh, we got a lot of foxes in the chat. We got HQYZ, Waifu Stealer, Ruffled, Sploogie, Gine. Come see me at the venue. Let's have a nice conversation. Maybe we'll put a little bit of monetary in there. Magnets definitely does have Batista experience. So yeah, I like Magnets. I think Magnets can definitely lose. Like if I were to give a percentage on this, I think like Magnets maybe 52%, Foxa 48. It's definitely one of the closest pool sets for getting out, like period, in this tournament. But I have to give it to my boy Magnets. Thank you, Light Raider, just for the best score in A. Yeah, Magnets does have the Dyrus buff. I like that'd be neat if Magnets and Fox could just get out in winners, but unfortunately it doesn't work that way. I think Magnets out in winners, Fox out in losers, and I think I called Nipperman out at third. But if he doesn't, I think Cookie gets out. So, but if you would like to make a little investment, I'm gonna borrow Neo's because I don't want to violate Twitch terms of service. Please hit me up. I'll be around. I might actually be running this pool. Let's have a conversation. But we'll move on to D3 from here. This actually, sorry, I lied about D2. D3 is an extremely fucked up pool. That pool is so messed up. So you have Argon Ross, who is the one seed, prolific Waldstein player, one of the best in the country, in the continent. You have Base Tuxedo Mask, who plays Gordo from New York. He's pretty strong. Drunk Suika Ibiki, third place at this last combo breaker. I think he's been struggling a little bit, but I know through talking to him recently, Japan has kind of opened his eyes. I think he says that he needs to play a little cleaner, and I'd have to imagine that he's been working on that as well. He has to tighten up. So Suika already is a wild card, but like Suika with the power of clean play. Actually, he's pretty clean already, but Suika with the power of concentration, I think it's even stronger. And like Vat versus Wald is already a difficult matchup. Then you have God Hunter. I don't know why they put New York here. Isn't he Canadian? No, I'm messing with you, God Hunter. So he plays 3 different characters, from what I understand. He plays Wald, he plays Gordo, and he plays Merkava. Argon's pretty familiar with Merkava. I know he definitely hates Gord, and I don't know how he feels about the mirror. So that's a potential like wrench in the plans. JC plays Carmine. She's not new, but I know she's primarily a Guilty Gear player that is kind of coming into uni. She's a relatively notable player to me because I'm in the Midwest. You have Liam, who is one of the top 4 Hildas in North America. He's the most elusive Hilda that I think I've played, even after playing the Hildas in Japan. His ability to like slide all over the screen and put himself in safe positions. It's not really like he's risking himself too much, or at least maybe that's my experience from playing Akatsuki. I know up to Frosty Faustines, he was actually Magnus' demon. He had been beating Magnus every time until that tournament where Magnus beat him 2-1 at the buzzer too. I think he ended up hitting him with like a gunshot at the top of the screen, or EX gunshot, to steal it. So Liam's extremely strong. He's finished with school for now, so hopefully he has a little bit of time. If you've played PC Net Play, I'm sure that you've run into him. Aside from that, Munchie Jr. is the dude that makes the really godlike Guilty Gear parodies and stuff like that. TLOU, who plays Hilda as well, has some really neat cosplays. But as far as this pool goes, I think the 4 or so that we mentioned, so this is Argon, Suika, God Hunter, and Liam. I don't know who wins out of that one. If I'm Argon Ross, I might be a little worried about that one. Like Hilda and Batista and Merc or the Mirror or Gordo, like that's messed up. That looks like a real annoying ass pool. I think it really depends on like where everybody is. I think Suika's probably the 2. So like I think Suika might play Liam in that pool if everything goes as plans up to semifinals, which leads Argon to have to play God Hunter. Yeah, I think Argon might end up in losers there. But if I'm looking at the spread, if he doesn't have to play Liam and instead has to play God Hunter, I think he gets the winners finals. But I think I like Liam over Suika, and I think Liam might get Argon Ross. I think Liam out in winners, Argon at the 2, and then I think Suika beats God Hunter. That one's kind of a toss-up too, because God Hunter's really strong. Yeah, I don't know why his name is censored. I'll keep approving those, but that's kind of weird. And Liam's defense is extremely strong too. But like Wald, sometimes even if your defense is strong, sometimes it just doesn't matter because like you can't always stop that character from jumping. But like Hilda's still a big roadblock for Waldstein as well. Um, yeah, Swanson's pretty nice too. Sorry, I forgot about Swanson. Uh, yeah, so we're gonna move on from here. This is the lamp pool D4. So normally, if you're looking around this, there's a couple names that stick out. Of course, we have Giuseppe, his first tournament since Frosty Faustings, I believe. He wasn't quite able to make it to Michigan Masters in time, so he was playing Dragon Ball instead. Um, but he is the most prolific Gordo player in North America. Multiple top eights, multiple top threes, extremely strong player. Um, Unfortunately, I think he had to die to. I think he died to LTP and then died to Foxo. So he was sacrificed for them to be on the come up. Basically, their names basically sprung off of him. You have Clear Lamp, who literally goes without saying. He's in the running for one of the best players in the world. Period. Plays Byakuya. He came over, won our last two tournaments, beat Red Blade and beat Squish in the finals of Climax of Night and CL Taku respectively. I think it's safe to say that Clear Lamp gets out of that pool in winners. But aside from that, you have DQRF from California. I think they play Wagner. I feel like I've run into that player online. Hagare, who plays Vampire and plays a lot of the old man games, he plays Merkava. You have Mr. Yusuk, the runner of Michigan Masters, and he has his hands in the TO business as far as the tournaments here. He was one of the liaisons as well for Climax of Night. But he's strong in his own right. He defeated Norse to get into top 16 at Michigan Masters. He's a Merkava's note as well. You have my other locals, so Marion. So he, Suna, and Sonic Sphere are all roughly kind of around the same level. I think he probably has the least amount of experience tournament-wise, or success, maybe, tournament-wise at majors. But he plays Chaos. Then you have Spinach. Spinach got ninth, I think, as well. He got ninth or 13th at CL Taku. He's an extremely strong Carmine player, even though I've heard he's been switching. He's been considering a switch to some other characters. You have, yeah, I think that's really the player's note there. I think Clear Lamp gets out in winners, and Spinach versus Giuseppe is an interesting matchup as well. Rylander is SoCal. Okay, I see. Oh, I completely missed Rylander. Who did Rylander play? What was his character? Ah, okay. Merkava. Man, these Mercs just keep coming out the woodwork. What a stable ass tournament character. So Rylander as well. Let's not forget him. He's unseated though. I'm pretty sure. It's like I'm not as familiar with him. Unfortunately, like SoCal, I'm sorry, you guys aren't new, but like I don't know as many of your players. He did beat Sonic. Okay, he beat Sonic Fox and EL. Okay, that's good to know. So that complicates this pool even further. So depending on where he is placed in his pool, that one could get really hairy too. So okay, Texas, or maybe California now. So I think still Clear Lamp safely gets out of that pool. I think I generally would say that I like Giuseppe against Merkava. Giuseppe might have lost to Spinach at CL Taku, maybe. I don't remember exactly. Actually, no. Giuseppe, I think, lost to Burger Time, and then lost to, was it Dave? Was it Dave in Burger Time? Oh, so maybe he's not as strong against Merkava as I might have thought. Uh, but I think Lamp, Giuseppe, Spinach, but Rylander definitely could mix that up. I like Mr. Yusuck, I like Somarion, but I don't know if they are experienced enough to top those other players. Um, so yeah, Lamp, Giuseppe, Spinach, I think is my order to get out. But pay attention to Rylander. I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up. If you excuse me for a second, I'm going to get some more water. I've been talking for a little bit. It's been, oh wow, it's already been about an hour. So hold that dial for now. I will be back shortly. All right, I'm back. Sorry about the delay. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, stay hydrated. Definitely had to go grab a nice glass of water. So let's see. What was the last comment I saw in the chat? E3. Oh boy. E3 is about to be fucked. Yeah. Sploogie, I won't say nachos because you should get post tournament Portillo's. That's gonna slap and you're gonna be greased down and the itis will hit. Just like Chicago. Alright, so E1. See who we got here. We have Isaac. Oh boy. Uh, Isaac, another one of the big up and comers. I watched him meme on players in Japan. That man is crazy, but like it has logic, but like he really like squeezes portions. Like he squeezes a lot in portions where like you're uncomfortable in. And he sets up situations where you just look really dumb and you get run over. Like pogos, force functions, like Rekkas, like he's got it all. He's something else. He's definitely something else. You got JDR. So like JDR, I think previously had the reputation of a crazy player. I think he still kind of is more of a wild player, but Isaac has definitely circumvented him with that and has gone to spread his miasma throughout the entire East Coast. Uh, let's see, Lo-Fi, unfortunately, I don't think gets to go. I think he'll be staying at home. He registered, but didn't. I don't think he got a refund or anything. So thank you for entering your pot bonus, uh, Yokai. I hope you have a relaxful weekend back in New York. Take care of yourself. Um, Matt Deasy is a name that I know has been around. He played Carmine before, but I think he's made the switch to Eltnum. Uh, and so, taking that into account, maybe he won't do so well, but I hope he does his best. Noko is a name that I've heard, but I'm not too familiar with. Um, let's see. Papa's one of my locals, a new player. Plays Nanase. Then you have Royal Heart, who has basically eaten and breathed top dates here, beating player after player. The last one was Klim. He beat Tari before that, beat Giuseppe before that. He's the favorite of this pool, I think, with a caveat. I'll get to that after. But Royal Heart's Hilda extremely strong. Uh, is a player that really thrives in scrambles. Like if the situation's hairy, he has a lot of composure. He doesn't give up veil offs that much. Like he might eventually. I know Red Blade and Fox of and LTP got wind of his stand tech habit, and so you definitely could blow him up for just running up delay and then assaulting, since that goads stand techs. But I know through talking to him, he's gone through a lot of effort to get rid of that habit, and I think we saw a little bit of that at Michigan Masters. Um, he's been OSing sometimes and really just trying to react other times. So it's difficult to get him to kill himself, basically. Um, but we have a perfect player that puts you in those really shitty situations and manages to scramble them. And that. Other than that, we have Smart Steer, who is from Ontario. That's where Psychotic used to be from. So that used to be like Psychotic, Smart Steer, and Rakir in that group, along with oh, he goes by something else now. It was Roberto Never Block, the Byakuya. Uh, Duesta's a name that I've seen. 27th Oath is a hardworking Seth player. Tora is probably the next best Nanase at this point. There's 2 gig actually, so 2 gig's appearance probably bumps him down. But if you're looking at Nanase's, it's probably Neon, 2 gig, and then Tora at this point. Although let's not sleep on Jin, Estrogen. She's definitely been on the come up herself. So this pool is actually kind of messed up. It's kind of messed up, but I think just through I think Smart Steer can definitely throw some wrenches into the mix here, depending on where he falls in the pool. But I think Royal Heart, JDR, and Isaac is the collection of players that we're really looking at. There's Murphy too. I can't forget him. Um, Murphy, I think, has better tournament results than Tora, so I think that bumps Tora down further. So Murphy is definitely the third one, and Tora is probably the fourth. But unfortunately, Murphy doesn't get to go to this one. I'm really sad. I like hanging out with Murphy. See you next time. Hopefully, you can come out to something. Um, but I think the collection of 3 that we're really looking at is Friend Zone again. I'm sorry. I think we're looking at Isaac, JDR, and Royal at this point. And if I'm going to put my honest opinion out there, I think Royal wins this pool unless Isaac runs into him. And if Isaac plays Royal, then things get really hairy really fast. It goes without saying that like the Midwest doesn't like playing against Hyde. I think anybody that commonly plays against strong Hyde doesn't really like to play against Hyde. I hate fighting Hyde. Hyde is my weakness, and we'll see that as we go toward my pool, because I get to run into one of my bracket demons, of course, assuming that I even get that far. Uh, but yeah, I know Royal doesn't really like Hyde that much. So if Isaac plays Royal, I'm not going to bet this because I would never bet money in something that Isaac is involved in. That might be another one that you prepare your purses for. I have no idea what's going to happen with that one. But for now, I think I'll say Royal. I'll say Royal. I'll say JDR in third, and I think Isaac is second. So that one is a particularly one. Yeah. Let's see. Let's move to E2. Okay, we got our boy I That Guy, the winner of Texas Showdown, in there. And we have another wonderful guest to our stream, Sploogie McNoodle. This one, oh boy. This one's actually kind of dirty too. This pool's kind of messed up. DZ's really strong. Hilda from Philly. We have Makoto Fox, aka Fox. Outnum, he's been on the come up. He's in that pool. That guy. We have Wrath, who is Squish's local, plays Phonon. Sploogie, and White Beast. White Beast took me out of the tournament in Michigan Masters. He's definitely been one of the strong players to come into the Midwest. But I think even with all that, we're looking at that guy versus Sploogie to get out of the pool. And whoo boy. Yeah, they played a couple days ago, but didn't play in tournament. That guy I know mentioned that he was a little worried about Seth. I know that guy, and I know he's probably gone into the lab. I don't think that there's really any Seth that plays like Sploogie at this point. Sploogie, from what I've watched of him, like we played once or twice online, but like continental Midwest to California net play doesn't really tell you too much. Sploogie's defense is extremely good. There are maybe some areas that you can pick on Sploogie on. I think we kind of saw that at Texas Showdown. I won't really go too far into that, but I think if you look at that set, if you look at the sets that he ended up losing, you can kind of see that. I think Byakuya, I know LPT is out there, but I know that LPT and that guy kind of structure their pressure a little different. I think that guy gives some different looks than maybe Sploogie is used to. I think this might have been one of the things that KFL ran into. Nah, you're not just a net player. You're too strong for that. If you're just a net player, you can call Fox up just a net player, and you can't say that about either of you. I think that one's really interesting, and I think that is going to be a three game set. I'm going to call Sploogie actually in that one. If I were to put money on it, it would be that guy because I have to be biased for my coast, of course. But I think Sploogie probably gets out in winners, that guy in losers, and I think White Beast gets out of the semis. So there is that. We'll move on to the pool after that. And that has J3, aka JJ, the Line and Phonon extraordinaire. One of the best players, in my opinion. I think he's top 8 as far as North American players go. He might be higher than that, depending on how you want to talk about it. Relatively not new to the tournament. I guess you could say he's new to the tournament scene. I want to say he really only started to come out last year. He got put in the death pool at Frosty Faustings, second at Combo Breaker, top 8, top 16, I want to say. Yeah, top 16 at CL Taku, and then top 8 at Climax of Night. So he's definitely one of the best players to look out for. You have Manta, who I think is playing Aurier now. He was playing Byakuya, but I think he's starting to make his switch. Actually, Eerily is a player that I've seen. I think he also plays Aurier as well. You have FaZe, who's the Hyde player from the Atlanta area. You have Slam, who is Clem's, like the Vancouver area. He top aided. He was a prolific EL player as well, but he top aided at Michigan Masters as well. I was really impressed by his composure and his defense and decision making when I had the ability to play him. Spoinkman is a talented Aurier that I have seen and played. There are a lot of Auriers in the Midwest. Now that I'm thinking about it, like there are a lot of Auriers in the Midwest. That's crazy. Um, then you have Venice, who is kind of adjacent to the Crazy Four that I mentioned as well. His Eltnum, if you've had the opportunity to play it, it's pretty crazy. Um, he's a little green, I would say, but I think the way he plays Eltnum could certainly ruin someone's day. You have Wired, who was previously from Illinois. I remember playing his Hilda. It was pretty strong. Then you have young Pat Lord, who is the Carmine from Illinois. As far as this pool goes, I think JJ versus Slam is actually super interesting, but I want to say that JJ is too strong. Like I think JJ gets out of this pool. I think Slam gets out in losers, and then from there, I want to actually say Spoinkman because I know Pat Lord actually has a bit of an Aurier problem. He's run into Suna and hasn't done particularly well against Suna, as far as I've seen. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of Auriers. I mean, she's a really good character, and I think it's worthwhile for you as a anyone, not just you, in regards to I think it was Sploogie and who else mentioned it? Yeah, Talzin. But Aurier is a very common character. Merkava is an extremely common character, and it's pretty imperative that you get used to fighting both of those characters too. Um, but I think that is JJ Slam and actually Spoinkman. I think Spoinkman gets out over Young Pat Lord, even though I like Young Pat Lord a lot. Then we will move on to E4. This one actually is kind of messed up too. There are a lot of players that are kind of like around the same skill level. You have Black Lion Oro. If you play PS4 or PS3, you have seen his hide quite a lot. He's one of the hidden killers of New York, if only because he's not able to come out to things as much. You have Matt Coma, who is the Batista. I think he and Ray are usually the two players that are fighting for the Xanadu like finals. You have Batista. You have Camus Merkaba, who's pretty strong. Casey's Notorious, I think, is of relative note too. Again, it's just a name I've recognized come up. Missouri and Kansas is a scene that like I'm adjacent to and I kind of see, but I don't really know too much of the power levels there. Pat the Flip has written a lot of articles. I don't know how strong he is in Uni. His Guilty Gear play is pretty strong. Psychotic is the favorite of this pool. Aurier basically top eights as well, everything that he goes to. He kind of like does it quietly because like he'll come in and like maybe he'll lose at fifth, maybe he'll lose at seventh, something like that. But like of his most recent losses, I think it's really like Swish and Red Blade. He might have dropped a set to maybe Burger Time or Klim, but like he's almost always in top eights. He's a player that is one of my favorite players as well. Let's see, Shinso Beam. Shinso Beam has been on the come up for a while. I played his Wagner at not Combo Breaker, at Sea Otaku last year. but he's made the switch to Mika, and from players that I've heard, like that switch has really blossomed for him. At this point, I think he's probably the prolific Mika, him and Calamity, but I would say that Shinso Bean probably has a little bit more variable tournament experience. He did beat Fendo at Climax of Night. Uh, I think there was a tournament that he went to that he won kind of handily too. I don't know if he's run into JJ or anything like that. North Carolina is a little bit isolated, but I know he's been really strong. Silver Hydra is one of the players that I'm really familiar with. He's from Indianapolis, so like I've seen him a lot. He's run pretty close to get out of pools, or he gets out of pools. Outnumb player, played with Magnets a lot. Spectrin is an OG player. He also plays Guilty Gear. His Chaos has definitely been on the come up. And Mexicasual is pretty strong as well. So I think Psychotic and Shinso relatively safely get into winners. I don't. There are a lot of like strong players in this pool, but I think their level of play might be a little bit higher than the rest of them. But the losers semi entrance, actually Matt Koma, I think potentially maybe could beat Shinso. But that might be the one that I'm particularly confident about. Silver Hydra does really well against Sonic Spear. I think he usually beats Sonic Spear as well. So that's a potential wrinkle as well. He's pretty familiar with Mika, even though I don't think there's a Mika that really plays like Shinso as well. So that's something to look at. Isaac J, Texas Outnum. Yeah, I have seen Isaac J as well. Hank Hilda is Fart Bath. I see. So Fart Bath is my local as well. He's a local Miko on the come up. He's still kind of new as well, but he's strong. I think he's probably a little bit aggressive. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's probably Psychotic, Shinso, and I actually want to say Matt Koma. I think Koma gets out of this pool. I don't think that Uro is particularly comfortable against Batista. And I don't think Silver Hydra is also particularly comfortable against Batista. But I think Uro, Silver Hydra, and Koma are about the ones that I would say. Isaac J is really strong. I actually like Silver Hydra in the mirror against a lot of Elnums. Around the same level, that is. We're about to move on to G1. Yeah. There are 16 pools, but we're coming to the end of the block. We've gotten through a lot of them. We got through the 3 p.m. block. We got through the 5 p.m. block. We just finished with the 7 p.m. on Friday. Yeah, Chunk is good. Shinobi's good. So we have Cheesy Nanase. We have Chunk Brinkston. We have Goichi. We have Ju. I've heard Kyoku 360 HS. He is one of the best Yang players in Third Strike in the US. Let's see. Who else is in this pool? School Bus, of course. He's probably the front runner of the pool. Not even probably. I think he's the front runner of this pool. And then we have Shinobi and we have Suna. So this pool's pretty hairy too. And Macho. We have Macho, aka jokingly, It's Big Black. The story behind that was, I think, I That Guy, Brandon, and I were like watching, and we were watching this Byakuya, and we were just like, wait, who is that? We saw like 3C anti-ROS into a full combo. It's like, oh, this dude's kind of nice. Is this Big Black? So we went over and we asked him. It's like, bro, are you Big Black? It's like, no. It's like, I'm not. It's like, But we had our suspicions. I'm pretty sure he's not Big Black, but jokingly, we're going to call him It's Big Black. But of this pool, I think winners finals is pretty safely Findo versus Goichi. And I want to say that I think Findo wins this because Goichi, I can't imagine that he has particular experience against Wagner. And okay, Goichi's combos are getting updated, but the main thing that I would say that you have to pay attention to is Findo's training partner is JJ, and he's been playing against JJ's Line for 2 years. JJ, I think, has the best Line in North America free. Sorry, Clem. And based on playing against the phone-on players that I played in Japan, I definitely felt that JJ had better strength than them. So JJ plays Line and phone-on, and he's going exclusively Line this year. But he's historically played the best phone-on in North America. Yeah, I think Findo might cook Goichi. Like, if I'm being real. If Findo is playing anything like he should be, I think Findo might cook Goichi. And he might make it look real ugly, too. So, from there, losers is actually real messed up. I think JJ doesn't main phone-on anymore. But anybody that's played against JJ knows that his phone-on is the heat. Chunk, it depends on how much Ori experience Chunk has. Suna's played against basically every Merkaba in the Midwest and is generally favorable against them too. I like Suna probably over Chunk, if it even gets to that, because I think we're sleeping on Shinobi, who's nice. Shinobi, if anybody like went and played against Shinobi at Michigan Masters, like I was very impressed about how he was playing. And not to say he's not a very common character either. Like he has the damage, he has the setups, like it can look kind of hairy. And let's not forget Ju either. Ju's really strong. His Line has definitely been on the come up for a little bit. I know he's kind of lost confidence recently. But he's like right behind Miller as well. I think he's strong. But I think Suna probably gets out third there. I think you say that, Ju, but like I think when it clicks, it'll click for you. Like you're definitely in that period where a lot of players of similar kind of like level are, where nothing seems to work, but I think you're not looking at the positive things that you're able to do. And like keeping composure in tournament is also a skill that you have to grind if you want to. Know that like the other players in the Midwest and some of the players that have been able to play you since then, like believe in your ability to do well. So take that how you will. But I think Suna gets out. But I think it depends on how comfortable Shinobi is against Merkaba. Because I think if Shinobi can't beat Chunk Bringston, I think if Shinobi can't beat him, then it gets hairy. But if Shinobi gets to Suna, Suna's not as comfortable with Nanase. And I say that because I've played my Nanase against him a fair amount. So I want to say that it's probably Suna, but I think Shinobi or Chunk Bringston can get out. That's the group that I'm paying the most attention to. So G2, that is Silence Pool and Red Blade Pool. Yeah, Red Blade is cooking that pool no butter, no oil. Like, yeah, Red Blade. I don't know if there's any player that I think is comfortable enough to stop Red Blade's offense, and that's actual factual. So I think Red Blade gets out in winners, but who gets to him is kind of interesting. So you have Deb. aka Magnets, aka Guilty Gear Soul Extraordinaire. You have Kira. Kira is a Yuzu of relative note. He's definitely been on the come up. He's a training partner with me, Findo, and Brandon. Plays online a lot. You have Mini Matt, the Hilda from Colorado, also of Guilty Gear Note. He's one of the better Elfelts. You have Osugure, who plays Yuzu as well. Sigma, the Merkava from DVA. Goes without saying, the boy Silent. Wake Up 6-6 Charged B himself. That gets kind of hairy. I don't know. I don't think you should play Gord. You definitely shouldn't play Gord. But, I don't think Silent can win the pool. I love Silent, but as long as Red Blade is not in his own head, he wins this pool super free. Who gets there, though? I think Silent versus Kira or Osu is interesting. I don't know how comfortable Silent is against Yuzu. I haven't really had a chance to watch him play. I don't know if there are any Texas Yuzus. I don't know if there's like any real adjacent Yuzus that he's been able to play that much. Osu is good, but Osu's kind of another one of those players that gets in his own head as well. Yeah, he studies a lot and he puts out resources, but I don't know how much gameplay he has. Archer Hero trained me. Yeah, it's not quite the same then, bro. Archer Hero is the 15th best PSN Yuzuriha, but these guys are active. Not that Archer is not active in Central America, but you know that net definitely be hitting different. If you can block Archer Hero, you can block anything. Well, I know that Kira has played LTP before, and that's an experience for anybody that's ever played against LTP. That's an experience. Long story short, don't get put in P2 side unless you know how to block. But I think Kira, yeah, LTP won Cyclops. He beat Linny, who I couldn't beat. Yuzu was too strong for me. Even though I think Cyclops will drop the video soon. I played a really good losers final set, or a losers final set with him after I beat Mulan. So if you have a chance, definitely pay attention to that. I don't want to be that guy, but like when LTP and I were playing in casuals, I was cooking him though. But I think Kira is second seed, and I think Silent gets out in third. But I could see that switching. That's my call on that. I believe in Silent though. Silent's clean. I think both of you sometimes have tournament nerves, and that can kind of get in the way. And like that's a matchup I think Yuzu versus Phonon where if too many mistakes are made, then the other character or player kind of gets run over. So I would keep that in mind. So G3, that's my pool. Oh boy. Okay, so we have Eriko. She is the Batista from that guy's area. I know before she wasn't playing that much, but she's come to embrace the game. I know I constantly see her in the Batista channel, kind of talking tech, paying attention. I played her at Frosty Faustings a bit as well. And I played her also at CO Taku. I think I also played her at Climax of Night too. Like I've managed to play her not in tournament but in casuals a bunch. see. You have GC Yoshi, who everybody knows about from his Bedman play and his wonderful posting on Twitter. His Byakuya is pretty strong too. I don't know if he's. I think he's been playing in NorCal a bit more recently as well. Uh, you have the C Otaku 2017 champion Infinity. He's finally been able to be active again. He went to the Super TSB in New York last month. He was at KSB grinding. So he's been active. He's out of school. I think he found a job. So he's kind of back in the grind a little bit. Then there's me in that pool, Jushichi. I play Akatsuki. If you didn't know, I also play Orie and I play Nanase. We have Sabin, aka Young Art, Hilda player in New York, won a full moon, a dual moon, I think. Yeah, he won a dual moon in New York. If you've been following him, which you should, because he posts all sorts of content, he also streams himself playing on PC. I know he's been getting the tech from Angel, so he's been upping his damage, upping his setups. That's a dangerous one as well. If it's Pero, I think plays Eltnum from Illinois. I've played him online before. So I'll preface this by saying that Infinity is 100% my demon right now. That, boy, that one's going to be rough if I get there. Yeah, drop your Jushi Pensives in the chat because this one is going to be a real rough one. I don't know if I can beat him, if I even get to that. I'll try my best, of course. I have some ideas now. I've been able to watch him play. But even aside from that, this pool's messed up for me. It's like I have to play Hilda, I have to play Batista, I have to play like who else? Hydrophobic, I think, is in this pool. I think he plays Merkava. Have to play Byakuya and GC Yoshi. It's a yikes pool, but I would say it's probably me, Infinity out in winners, me, and I want to say Art, but I think GC Yoshi, if his offense is good enough. Art has the tendency to panic under pressure in this game as well. I mean, it's relatively typical for Hilda because like Hilda's defensive options aren't very good. I think GC Yoshi can get out of this pool, but losers is going to be interesting because Eriko's pretty strong as well. So now we'll move on to the last pool, and I think that this one is one of the more interesting pools as well. So we have Guard Crush Yoshi. Yep. We have Beautiful Hair. We have Burger Time, who, like, I think I've said this about like 3 players already. Like, basically gets in the top 8s every time now. She has a lot of different signature wins at this point. I have some notes that I'm gonna pull up real quick. Yeah, so at Taku, she double eliminated Infinity. She beat School Bus. I know she's beaten Calamity. She's beaten That Guy. Her most recent losses are really like Squish, Clem, and Slam. Hilda's a little bit of a weakness for her maybe, but I don't think that there are really any Hildas in this pool. You have Carmine, Beautiful Hair. You have Mika, Chie Lover. You have Jin in this pool with Nanase. FLCD, Flaccid as well. You have Yuzu, Hakuna Merkaba, aka Bearzerg, who defeated That Guy, eliminated That Guy at Michigan Masters. Climax is an OG Nanase player. Miller 2B, one of the prolific Lines. You have NYCZ Brandon, who has to be almost inarguably the second best Line in North America at this point. At this point, he's beaten Findo. He put Squish to the brink. Beat Argon Ross. Beat well, he has beaten Angel Soul, of course. Beat Royal Heart, and then yeah, I think that's about the group that I know of sorts. So I think looking at this pool, Burger Time versus Brandon is probably the winner's final set there. Uh, they're both that set is really nice too. I think if you're going to start making some wagers, Brandon versus Burger Time is definitely one of those that you want to pay attention to. That's another interesting East versus West Coast setup. Both Burger Time and Brandon are aggressive players that like to set expectations and kind of get you guessing here and there. Now, Merkava versus Line is a little bit of a difficult matchup, but like it's a matchup that I know Brandon's familiar with. He's definitely seen it a lot. As far as Line though, I don't know how much experience Burger Time has against Line, and like playing against Brandon's Line is very different than playing against other Lines. Um, Aside from that, let's see. Beautiful Hair, Chia Lover, Jin, Flaccid, Hakuna Matata, Climax, and Miller. Uh, I think putting aside the winners finals, which I'll make a guess on after, I think Miller versus Hakuna Merkaba is probably loser semifinals. And hmm, Eline versus Yuzu is a weird matchup. And it's a matchup that I think Miller has a bit more experience in, but like Hakuna Merkaba is very good at putting himself in safe spaces, in spaces where characters like Line and Akatsuki have difficulty kind of engaging with. Yeah. Oh, okay. You also beat Miller at My Mask to Get Out. Okay. So yeah, he's definitely labbed it since then. But I think Hakuna Matata probably gets out in losers here. I think I wouldn't sleep on Hakuna Merkava versus Brandon as well. I know Brandon plays Kira. He's probably played a couple Yuzus in his own right. Um, so Hakuna Merkava can definitely shake up this pool, and definitely I know he's played against Merkava. So he's the dark horse, but I think Brandon and Burger Time are probably the two that you're looking at. And hmm, I'll let my East Coast bias show. I love you, Sylvie. Sorry, but I think Brandon will make it out in winners here. So I have Brandon, I have Burger Time, and I have Hakuna Makaba getting out of that pool at G4. So I guess whenever brackets are up and I can look at the path, I'll like put something into Smash.gg or like I'll put some sort of bracket up as far as challenge goes, and I will kind of do an estimation of the entire tournament. But until we get that information out, I think we're just gonna call it here. I've been streaming for almost 2 hours. I'm hungry. I'm about to get some Japanese food. So thank you all for tuning in. I'm gonna call it a night here at this point. I'll leave up the VOD. Maybe I'll put it on YouTube. I don't know. In the future, let's see. Yeah, RB is going to start in 15 minutes, so definitely stick around for that. But in the future of streams on this content, I think I want to do like match analysis or I don't know. I've seen a lot of shit in the Union community, so I might just kind of talk wax poetic or something like that. Uh, if there are questions that people have in general for me, I could answer them on the stream. But I think I'll take the analysis route. I know like Magnets and some of the other players, the strong players, do gameplay stuff, but I don't really like playing on Steam, if I'm being real. Um, it's not particularly enjoyable for me. Um, Like I'll play if I have to play people or I want to work on a matchup. The additional thing is I definitely don't like talking when I'm playing. I will if somebody's like next to me, but like if I'm just grinding and like learning stuff or working on stuff or laughing, I usually don't really like engaging with chat that much. So you won't really see that from my stream, I think. But I'll do analysis. Yeah, don't do that, Cookie. I'll do analysis. I'll do kind of like what I did today. Um, I might hop on like if other people are streaming, like maybe you might hear me as another voice on something like that. Um, I think I probably want to talk through some of my matches in Japan too at some point. I don't know if that's going to be pre combo breaker or if that's going to be post combo breaker. Um, hmm. I had some other thoughts when I was preparing some other stuff about stuff that I might do, but stay on the lookout. I'm gonna try to get some combo breaker vids up. I wouldn't count on it though. It's gonna be really like touch and go. If you want to record sets for people in the chat, please come at me on Twitter, at me on Discord. Let's get something together. I'm just probably not going to do it outside of my own personal use. You know, I'll try to record sets with people that I haven't played. But if you're looking to record set against X player, record money match against Y player, yeah, feel free to do that as well, Cookie. I know a lot more players have LGPs and stuff. I know my schedule's kind of free now. Like I thought I'd be working more, but like most of my work I think is on Saturday on Friday, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting in the early part of the evening on Thursday. So if you have any interest in that, or if you're up in the morning, I'm usually up at dumb hours in the morning. I don't mind recording sets there. Okay. I can stay live until you're up, and then I can raid if you're interested in that, JU. But yeah, uh, yeah, so those are a couple things that I'm gonna do with my channel. I might stream going through some Akatsuki combo stuff. There's a lot of like routing that I kind of do that I don't post on Twitter necessarily. A lot of like my impromptu stuff, I could probably talk through some theory if Akatsuki players are interested in that. Couple different things, but I do plan to stream more often for sure. So if you can and you would like to support me, please go ahead and hit the sub button. Use Twitch Prime. Use your money if you are so inclined to do so. Um, Follow my other media. Like I said, I have this up here. Definitely check out the blogs. If you want to learn about the history of Uni, if you want to learn about tournaments that happened in the past or players that have come up on my radar, I definitely post about that. Twitch, Twitter, if you want to follow my dumbass tweets, some Uni related, some art, feel free to shoot me a follow there at Enki no Jushichi. My combo doc that has at least some of my combos on it are there. Got my YouTube channel, Sugoi Jushichi. Please follow or subscribe to that. There's definitely going to be plenty of YouTube content, like my Jushichi in Japan series that runs through here. All sorts of playlists, like exhibitions that I've run. I do plan to record at some of the other events that I'm at. Evo, I think, is going to be very important for me to try to record some stuff at. I usually get uploads up pretty fast too. So please be attuned to that. I'll be trying my best to get footage for that as well. I feel like I'm missing one more thing that I wanted to mention. Let's see. Maybe it'll come to me in a second. Yeah. But let's see. Yeah, I probably could share stories on YouTube. If anything, it would be like me talking on Twitch and then I just put it up on YouTube. I have streamed directly from YouTube. I usually just do like net play sessions and stuff that way. Let me pull into my Twitch. Yeah, no problem, Liam. You're gonna get some meta here. I'm gonna go to my Twitch. You're gonna see me raid to other people. Oh wow, it's me. Super meta. Twitch into my Twitch. So we're about to Facebook stories. Nah, I probably won't do that. We're about to raid RDE. Let me get a second to do that up. Oh, Tommy Two Step, thank you for hosting before. Thank you for everybody that decided to shoot me a Prime sub or a sub in general. I really appreciate that. That definitely helps me do some of the things that I do. Let's see. There we go. Oh, okay, cool. It looks like Recurring Void Effect is live, so queuing up the raid. Okay, got 7 subs. Not too bad. I do have a couple other emotes lined up, so if I manage to hit the sub goal, you'll see another one soon. I thankfully commissioned Cho for another one, so be on the lookout for that. But enough about me. They're about to take it off at Recurring Void Effect. We have Miller versus Waifu Stealer, and unfortunately, I don't remember the other one. I don't remember the other set, but those guys have been great for the Uni community. Definitely, if you can, if you want to try commentating, you want to give your chops that way. I know they're looking for commentators. If you're looking to play against people, definitely sign up. They're really flexible about PC or PS4. So go ahead and give them a shot. They're great guys. And I'll catch you next time.